So fall is actually my favorite time of the year, not only personally, but also as a business owner and a marketer, and I'm going to tell you why. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Jake Randolph. I've helped thousands of beauty business owners grow over the past 5 years, and if you are a small business owner, I'd be happy to help you grow. So why is fall my favorite season as a marketer? Well, before we dive into that, some of you have asked me about my weight loss, because if you've been following my story at all, I've lost 45 pounds in the past, basically the past 6 months. And for me, health is wealth. You know, being able to lose that weight and have more energy, I'm able to, get more business done, get more content done, and just grow my business. And so I think health is one of the most important parts of business. And so real quick, I'm going to show you some of the fall recipes that I actually made that are keto and that were low carb, and they turned out very well. So let's go take a look at those real quick. Alright, so let's see what we got here. We got some keto chicken wings, so I'm going to put some keto buffalo sauce on those. We got some pumpkin spice donuts, those look really good, and then we got some cauliflower mac and cheese. So all this is keto, low carb. These have almond flour in them, so yeah, definitely excited to have those. All right, now that you're hungry, let's talk about marketing. So ironically, I was actually going to film this video about how I love fall and all that while I was outside and, show all the yellow trees and stuff. Well, today it actually snowed. And so for those of you who don't know, I live in Alaska, and it's early October, and this is the second time it snowed in the past couple weeks. And so, I love fall, but here fall is a little bit different now, and I'm kind of getting accustomed to that. Sometimes there's snowfall and there's not that many yellow leaves because there's just white snow. Anyways, let's talk about marketing and business and why I love the fall season. So in the industry I'm coming from, which most of you who are watching are probably in, the beauty industry, or more specifically, I have a lot of clients in the permanent makeup industry. In that industry, there's a lot of things that go against us in the summertime. People, they're not able to, I'll be frank, they're not able to go in the sunlight, they're not able to do a lot of things like swim, and so that's already a huge turnoff in the summer, not to mention people are traveling. So when you're focused on traveling, especially now after the pandemic, or I say after, but there was more travel this year than there was last year, let's put it that way. So when there's more travel, people are less focused on getting luxury services. They're more focused on, okay, where can I go? And they're spending money on that. And they're just busy, busy getting out and about, busy enjoying social lives and all that, because that's something we really didn't have in 2020. Not to mention that this is also applicable for that. I think the pandemic accelerated all that stuff and just made it worse this year. So yeah, summer is usually a bust with a lot of businesses. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of my clients are super busy in the summer. The ones that run ads consistently, they stay pretty booked up. And so I'm not saying summer's slow for everybody, but for those new business owners who are just starting out and just trying to grow their clientele, it does tend to be slower. Now, what about spring and early spring? That time is usually all right around spring break and stuff. I say January and February are sometimes slow because people are broke from Christmas. They're kind of tired from Christmas and all that, and they're kind of getting into their New Year stuff. Spring can be hit or miss. Summer, we've already talked about. Now, Christmas time is great for established businesses, but not so great for people who just are trying to, grow their brand new business during Christmas time. So if you're somebody who's watching or listening and you're about to start your marketing, don't wait until the holidays, because it gets really tough. Why? Because every single business in the world is advertising on Black Friday. They're advertising for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. You have a lot more competition, because when you run or you think about advertising, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Google, or really any platform, you're not only competing with people in your same industry, but you're also competing with every other business, because guess what? That person that might be your ideal client, maybe they're also an ideal client for Louis Vuitton or Coca-Cola, or you name it. So those other companies are also vying for that person's attention. And so advertising is an auction system, and so you guys are all bidding on the same ideal clients a lot of times. And so that's why I say, like, your competition is not just people in your industry. It can be every single business when it comes to those situations. All right, so let's backtrack to fall. Why do I love the fall? Well, one, people are done traveling as much. They're done getting out and about. They've gotten their kids back in school. Maybe they've gotten back in some kind of routine. And typically what I've seen from people is that they like to starting to cool off a little bit. So instead of just wearing a tank top and swim trunks, they can actually like start to dress up a little bit, wear a sweater here and there, and start thinking about going to different social events and start thinking about the holidays coming up. And then just the fact that they're not traveling and they're not spending money on Christmas gifts quite yet, they can think about, you know, getting some luxury services, getting their brows done, getting a facial, getting a massage. They have a little bit extra cash flow that they're not spending on travel, they're not spending on Christmas gifts right now. So yeah, fall is a great time. Historically, the past 5 years, every single year, fall has been the most lucrative time for my clients. That's why I've been telling you guys, you need to start running ads immediately if you're not already, because I think October is like the sweet spot. You know, November is great. And then once you go into Black Friday and Christmas, you really got to have that momentum, because if you don't have that momentum and that data built up, then you're going to get swept away by other businesses, and you're not even going to be a viable competitor against those other businesses. So what do I mean by momentum? Well, when you run Facebook ads or Instagram ads or Google ads, you name it, you're building up data. You're building up, well, two things really, data and connection points. And so when I say connection points, it might be someone visiting your website, and hopefully you're tracking them if you know how to track people like that. You know, it might be a lead, somebody messaged you, somebody text messaged you, so you got their email. And so these are all connection points. Even people who see your post, that's a connection point. And so if you have all these connection points built up, it makes it a lot easier to sell something once the holiday season actually hits. Because, you know, guess what? If you got a little bit of money and you're like, oh, I'm in the Christmas spirit, I want to buy myself something nice, or I want to get a gift for my wife or my sister or my friend, who are you going to spend your money with? Some random person you've never seen on an ad, or someone who is like, oh, I've seen that person's ads multiple times. You know, their stuff has looked pretty interested. They've reached out to me before. I'm going to spend my money with them because they're someone I recognize more. It's all about name and brand recognition. So yeah, I think those are some great cases, not to mention the fact that people are just spending more money and they're not having to, if you're a permanent makeup artist, they're not in the sunlight as much. They're not going to be like, oh, well, I can't go swimming, so I'm not going to get it done. So naturally your sales are going to pick up. So if you're not being aggressive during the fall time with your marketing, definitely reconsider your marketing plan, because I think the fall time, it is an amazing time. Not to mention, as you see, it's one of my favorite times. We had our son Atlas, he had a pumpkin hat on yesterday. I'm wearing my orange. You know, fall is a great time for me. There's something to be said about summer and travel and beaches and stuff like that, but I've always loved the fall. I'm a coffee drinking guy, and so even though I drink coffee year round, it's a little bit easier when it's cool outside. Now, with me being in Alaska, it's always cool. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this and learn something. If you have a question, feel free to reach out to me, and I would love to know, if you're watching the YouTube video, what's your favorite season? Is it fall? Is it summer? Actually, make that 2 separate comments. 1, I want to know what your personal favorite season is, and 2, I want to know what's the most lucrative season for you in business. And so I think that would be awesome to see all the viewers, like, oh, you guys, what is your most lucrative times? All right, guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and leave me a review if you're listening to the podcast. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you on the next one. All right, bye.